Today is Saturday, February 28th, 2026. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor 50 Week 1.
I'm excited.
I know. That was still excited.
The ratings were, that's the best it's been in 4 years. It was a little over 5 million on a Wednesday night. It actually peaked up into the 6 million for a little while and then dropped off a bit after that. Mm-hmm. But that's a good sign, and I guess it shows what a good cast and all that extra promotion can do. Maybe you have to start almost a year ahead promoting a show.
I don't think that was it. I think they delivered.
Yeah, well,
I think the cast delivered.
Having recognizable people.
And,
yes,
you know, the nostalgia. Mm-hmm. From, going back and starting out showing us that montage was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Yes.
I think it just set the mood somehow. So whoever came up with that idea, good job.
Mm-hmm. Thumbs up. How many do we have this week in the listener feedback
26.
show? 26 people.
We were not alone in enjoying the premiere.
Well, it's yet to be determined if everyone enjoyed it.
Well, sure.
But yeah, that's a good number. That's usually a good indication. Like we had 19 last night, or 17, something. I forget what it was. It was pretty far up. When you're that far up on a Friday night, as we get ready for this show, it's a good indicator. Yeah, there's a lot of participation. People willing to take time out of their valuable weeks there and contribute something that they're passionate about. Something, whichever way it ends up playing out in terms of didn't like, all that good stuff. Yeah, they're excited enough, passionate enough to get to it. Anything else we need to cover before we get started?
No, let's jump right in with Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. Wow, now I gotta say it was a very good 3 hours. I honestly don't know what to say. There was so much going on. I was a little surprised at some of the fan voting, and the ending was sadly a disappointment because of the medical evac. But I'm still gonna let out a big and boo because of the way it ended. But nevertheless, guys, it was a very good episode. Let's talk about Cerie. Looked like she was dead to the water again. To her credit now, she didn't give up, and eventually she got the rope on that thing there so they could advance to the wall portion for her tribe. But it did set them back. Even Pope said it at tribal. And there's no doubt she is the weakest link physically, but socially and strategically, you can't beat her. And it's interesting to see her and Ozzy working together on that team, too. I mean, the way it was looking, you heard Rick Devens go the dun, 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 dun. I was worried for a second. Are they going to still get rid of Cerie? Was it going to somehow be Ozzy, Jenna? And I guess it's only fitting. She's way back from season 1, and she's the first one out in 50. I was a little bit sad, but I was satisfied because I thought Jenna would have offered a lot as the game went on. But in the end, I think she just overplayed her hand. And not just Cerie, but many of the guys on her tribe, like Kubicki, Rick Devens, Savannah. Although Savannah wanted Cerie out, and so did Joe. But it goes to show you how great Cerie is. She has those evil eyes in her, and she got her way, and she somehow survived. So bye, Jenna, and sad with Kyle. I think they gotta end this crap with the mud. I mean, I know it's entertaining, but look, to me, it's as bad as that Sheboygan brawl. Remember Samoa when James got hurt and ended up leaving too, and the hero's villain. That's what happened with Kyle, because he couldn't keep his balance climbing. It wasn't his fault. He gave it his all, and he just didn't land right, and he fought it, but in the end, they had to pull him, though. He needed medical attention. Curious to see how he's doing when I hear his exit interviews, and if he needed surgery. That is sad for sure. But overall, it was a very good premiere. A lot of shifts. I liked that some of the old school guys on Coach's team got together. Coach, Jonathan was with them. Chrissy. I think that's real good for sure. Great episode for Coach. Ozzy, I'm a little on the fence with. I thought Colby looked real good, even though he lost to Savannah and he lost his vote, as did Q. So again, I'm expecting a lot from this season. My hopes are still high. I thought it was a very good premiere. I was a little surprised voted for them to fight for rice and supplies, for them to earn it. That was interesting. And Probst keeping the flint. But let's just hope there's not, again, too many advantages. Love the idols. Enough for me at this point. But it was a solid premiere, though. Just sad with the Kyle medical evac. All right, guys. Take care. Woo.
Ooh, thanks, Pete. Yeah, Jenna was adamant that the thing that did her in the interviews that I've gone through was these pre-gaming alliances. People came in with pre-gaming alliances, and then the other tribes were packed where the old school people had somebody with them. And what else did she say? Oh, yeah, Christian is the mastermind behind all this. He was really the source of her downfall. He's the one who engineered Jenna going after Sari. So he brought it up first, according to her. And then the trio working together with Devins and Emily and Christian. And Christian was puppeteering them through this.
Okay.
That's what she's convinced. In the interviews...
I thought I would have had a lot more respect if she'd have just said, well, I really did come in and played too hard too fast. I just wanted it so much, and I wanted to play really hard.
What she said about that was, didn't you see on the other tribes? They were playing hard. It didn't work to their downfall, but they also didn't lose immunity. So
yeah. How do you know?
I'm not
they
sure.
didn't go to tribal.
Not sure what your point, if you've got a valid point.
Well,
there,
and
that's really some data to stand on.
Colby and Stephanie together. And
yes.
Sari and Ozzy together. They didn't give her anybody that she could. And so I thought, okay, I didn't like that quite as much, but I understand.
She didn't own it, and she was a little bit bitter, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I just like for people to own it.
Yeah.
I'm usually the first one to go, yep, sorry, I did that.
She was kind of owning it, I guess, by giving Christian all the credit and how devious he was and bringing that to fruition.
Well, the clip I saw, she wasn't. I didn't watch all of it, so I could be wrong.
Well, I hope she's right that Christian's working at that devious of a level and has these different paths working to his advantage.
Well, definitely, Rick and Emily are very excited to be working with Christian and with each other. Mm-hmm. So Emily's just happy somebody wants her.
Yeah.
That's ecstatic.
At least that's how the edit presented it.
Yes.
And the injury was serious. Kyle did tear his Achilles.
Yes.
So I think he said he was at Ponderosa for just a little over 24 hours, and then he was on a plane back, and he was in the hospital getting it checked out the morning he arrived and scheduled for surgery a few days after that, and he's been doing serious rehab. He couldn't walk on it for 2 months. It was bad. If he had stayed out there and it had come completely loose and pulled up, it was going to be a mess.
He might have lost his ability to walk.
He's actually back to running again now. So, and he and his wife, or is it fiance, are expecting a baby in May. So it's been a busy dude.
Well, hey, they made the right call, and I know it was tough on him, and it's tough on the fans. Nobody wanted to see him go out like that, even though he was a new winner and everybody thought he would be voted out. I had begun to think, oh, shoot, they're following him.
Mm-hmm. Drawn to him, yeah.
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing in terms of how he was playing for his game and playing the people.
And I'm not sure we saw the same degree of charisma before because he and Joe were, bros. And so I'm not sure we saw like Genevieve said, woo, he's charismatic. And so anyway, very interesting, but I still felt bad for him, but I'm glad they made the call.
The reason it happened was that he actually went up the ramp second, and he and Q were at the top. Colby was boosting people up, and he and Q were grabbing them and pulling them up. And then, so they got everybody up there except Colby. He went back down and helped Colby up. And then he said he actually went up 3 different times he had tried. And he said we didn't actually see the one where he did the most damage to his ankle. And then when he did the most damage, Q said, "Hey, man, I think you broke your foot," because it was at a weird angle. And he said he looked down at his foot and immediately sat down because it...
Yep.
You hurt yourself bad enough and see it, and then
right.
your brain, goes into a bit of shock. He also said he negotiated for about 15 minutes with Probst. He put on his lawyer hat and was trying to work different angles to stay in, but eventually recognized the significance of it.
Well, I think the Dr. Joe had a pretty good idea that it was most likely.
Yeah, Kyle said he had actually been out earlier that day and checked him too. So it was, they knew what was coming.
That's why he came back with Jeff.
Yeah.
You see Jeff coming on the boat.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Good deal. Thanks, Pete. Next up, we got a call from Christiana.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Christiana from Massachusetts calling in with my feedback for the premiere of Survivor 50. I haven't listened to the recap yet. I just finished the episode. It's Saturday morning, but I absolutely loved it. Any disappointments I had with who was or was not cast are gone. I think this cast is phenomenal. The dynamics were super interesting. I was just giddy watching the whole thing. Jenna Lewis, I'll give her credit. She was playing really hard. I thought she would maybe be lost because the game is so different than when she played, even in All Stars, but she played really hard. She was great physically. She played too hard. I would say that was her demise, because if you come at Suri, you better not miss. And I would have liked to see a little bit more how like Savannah and Devins and Emily and some of these people who were sort of on Jenna's side ended up converting to unanimously vote her out. But I would have liked to see her play more, but not at the expense of Suri, certainly. And speaking of Suri, I loved seeing her and Ozzy link up. I just think it's so nostalgic. They're both really great. I guess I didn't really realize that Ozzy is self-proclaimed not good at strategy. He's played 4 times before. I know that's not what he's known for, but I thought he would be better than he was. So seeing him and Suri, if they can stick this out, will be awesome. And now he's totally loaded with ammunition. So hopefully that works out for them. I was really, really bummed to see Kyle get hurt. I think he is a really good player. I was excited to see him play again. And the fact that he was in such a good spot socially, even though all these people had just watched him win weeks prior to going out there, is wild and clearly speaks to his social game. But it's disappointing that we won't see him linking up with Genevieve anymore. I thought that would be a really strong alliance. More Colby or eventually maybe Camilla. His health comes first, I understand. So we saw him for as long as we did, and honestly that is one less double elimination we're going to see, I guess. The Coach and Ozzy dynamic, absolutely hilarious. And I don't love Coach and his integrity shtick. If him and Joe ever link up on the same beach, they're going to be insufferable. But I do give him props that he did not agree to whatever it is Ozzy was spewing, and I don't think he should have. That's the game. The fact that Ozzy was upset about that, I think, is silly. The fact that Ozzy said that he should have won instead of Sophie on South Pacific is also silly. Don't slander Sophie like that, Ozzy. But if they ever end up in a swap, or if they make the merge, seeing them together again just tickles me. Aubrey was really purple in this episode. I don't know if that speaks to her lack of impact in the game, because I feel like everyone else kind of got some even film time, but I just absolutely loved it. Can't wait to hear what everyone else has to say. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Excellent. Thanks, Christiana. Kyle said that he had worked an alliance with Aubrey and Angelina, but he said Aubrey was definitely sketchy and that she was likely the target. If they ended up going to tribal council, it probably would have went her way. And he said that Angeline and Aubrey were going off frequently and talking, and people suspected that Aubrey had found an idol until Genevieve turned up with that one. And that they had pulled, he also said they had pulled Rizzo in. So he had worked with Q and Rizzo, and he had so many different paths.
With everyone.
Yeah, he played the people, like he said. When he said that, he meant it. He was working angles we did not get to see.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes me okay when Jeff brings him back for another season, if his wife lets him go. But if you were hurt that badly and it took months and months, like, do you really need to do that again?
Right. Especially
with the baby on the way now. So, but who knows? Maybe somewhere, maybe for season 60.
The way Kyle was playing was so smart. He's thinking ahead of everyone, prepping for a swap. He said, I don't want to get swapped with people that I haven't made a connection with.
Smart.
Yeah. So if he were to have ended up with any group of these folks that he started out with, he would have had some solid connections to work from instead of showing up on a new swap tribe and being at odds with each other like we saw happen last season. Good stuff.
Okay. I don't necessarily think that Jenna was taken out because she went after Sari. I think it was more because she was talking to the other people more aggressively, and it was almost like, well, she's telling us what we need to do already.
There was that point, I was confused about it initially, the point that Christian was making when he was talking to Emily and Devins and Joe and Savannah and saying, if we don't vote Jenna out, we're going to have to deal with a bad blood situation. And what he was meaning was, if we vote out Ozzy, Sari's going to be mad at us. If we vote out Sari, Ozzy's going to be mad at us. And that reminds me of that extra clip that we watched. And it seems really significant, but it's an extra clip, which tells you that it's not significant to the story they wanted to tell.
That's what I said.
But it's really worth a watch because it's day 4 with the Sela tribe after they voted Jenna out, and there is some expressed regret. And they're clearly saying that they're going to target Ozzy next. That was surprising. I don't know. It's worth a watch. Definitely check it out and see what you think, because they're basically, they seem to be of the mind, the controlling alliance here seems to be of the mind that they might have made a mistake, that it wasn't in their best interest. So,
yeah, they reacted, but I was like, wait a minute. This is an extra clip. They didn't show it. Usually, if it's significant to the storyline, they'll show it in the episode, because you're like, why didn't they show this? Why didn't they?
Right.
And I thought, because it's not going to be significant.
Yeah.
At least that's my hope.
I put it in the show notes already. I've got the link there. And there was another extra clip that I saw this morning when I was pulling everything together, but I think it's on Twitter or X, or Instagram. And it was so it's a great example of a deleted scene that wasn't shown because it's truly not. It's easy to see why it's not significant, because after the challenge, surprise, surprise, Angelina tried to negotiate for a tarp for trading the smaller fishing kit to get a tarp, but Probst wasn't having any of it. It was interesting how she framed it, though, because she said, our beach, there are no fish. The fishing kit's not going to do us any good. And we've heard that before mentioned, that some of the beaches are better for one thing versus the other. So like the beach that Sela's on, I think is the same beach that Kyle was on originally, because we see Ozzy digging up some cassava. And Kyle, I saw a clip of him in a video talking about the different things they ate, and he talked about how significant that cassava was. You have to boil it because it's got cyanide in it, and you have to get that out. But once you do that, it's a high-calorie vegetable, basically, that you get to eat. So that's a big deal, him providing that. Kyle said it was really significant for them, too.
Interesting.
That wasn't an extra clip, the way the Angelina negotiation attempt was. But Probst had fun with it, but he wasn't entertaining anything at all.
I think because the paranoia is so high this season with all these wonderful players, and they are looking at everyone. And the minute somebody does something just a little, they're going to turn on them.
That's your theory, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Good stuff.
At least that seems to be on the seal. I think they'll go, oh no, this was more of a threat. We better look at this one now. Because, to look at Ozzy right now, really.
Well, Emily already wanted to do that. She was
Just
trying to
lost.
steer the
I
ship
know
that way
she
because
did,
she wanted Jenna in there for cover.
But she wants the weaker people because she's weaker.
Yeah, it gives her cover.
Exactly.
Those more high-profile folks.
So,
Yep, she may get
let's
her
go
way.
after the strong people.
We'll see. Thanks,
Or
Christiana.
the physically strong people.
Next up, we got an email from Mary in Maryland. I feel very satisfied with the premiere. I was wondering how I would stay engaged for 3 hours, but it didn't feel long at all, and I was interested the entire time. I really enjoyed the opening segment showing all the iconic scenes from the last 25 years. I actually got goosebumps and felt a little teary thinking about how much this show has meant to so many of us. Indeed. I enjoyed seeing some of the old school players more than I thought I would. I wasn't looking forward to seeing fourth and fifth time players, but it was actually fun to see how players of different eras meshed. Unfortunately, our Paramount Plus app snagged as they were reading the tribal council vote, so we did not get to see Jenna's reaction. I initially had Jenna as my first vote out, but then changed it as I thought she would be too obvious. I put Q as my first vote out, as I thought he would be too chaotic and untrustworthy. I was surprised how he seemed to fit in with a group much better than he did last time.
Is it the editing?
I'm heartbroken. No, Kyle said he was really
No,
gelling.
I thought he did great.
Yeah.
I'm talking about last time. Was it the editing?
Oh,
that
no.
showed her?
No, he was on a disaster tribe, and he
Yeah.
was chaotic as a result. I'm heartbroken about Kyle. He's one of my all-time favorite players and one of my favorite winners. I was so looking forward to seeing him play. Savannah's doing a good job. She seems to be fitting in well and came clean about winning right from the very beginning. It'll be interesting to see if she ends up linking up with Rizzo or if they keep their distance. I was surprised that Ozzy was featured so prominently in the premiere episode. I assumed he would be a non-factor this season. Coach was also much more tolerable than I expected. I would be fine with Sari leaving soon, as she has played so often. I listed Tiffany as my USB. I really enjoyed her on her season and felt that she was voted out too soon. I feel there's so many more big threats this season that she might fly under the radar for quite some time. Yeah, with that alliance she's working could help her too. Happy to be back with a Survivor community again and looking forward to the weekly podcasts and discussions. Looking forward to everyone's feedback and to watching this season with you. Awesome. Thanks, Mary. Next up, we got a call from Rebecca.
Hello, Survivor friends and family. Hello, Joanne and Stacy. This is Rebecca calling from Oahu. And my favorite movie is Tombstone, and my favorite scene is when Doc Holliday asks Johnny Ringo, "What do you want?" And Ringo says, "I want your blood. I want your soul. I want them both, and I want them right now." And that, for me, was how Survivor began. I want you all to dig deep and bleed for me, Jeff says. It was a great episode. I mean, it was like the TV show you love so much, like Survivor, comes back, but it's like a scripted show with all the characters that you love, and you're like, oh, look, there's Colby and Genevieve and Camilla and Joe. And Christian. All my favorite people are back. It was such an amazing treat. I absolutely loved the premiere. I am so here for this season. I am so excited to see all these dynamics. I love how things that I thought, like that new school winners were going to be shunned, and so not the case. Everybody loved Kyle. Everyone loves Joe. We're not having an ageist divide in this season. They're all fans of each other, and that's so wonderful to see. I went with Joe as my USB, basically because I just really wanted to root for Joe. And I kept seeing all these Joe promos coming up to the premiere, and is there a reason we're seeing so many Joe promos? Are they telling us something? I was looking over my names. I had said I wanted to go with Chrissy, and all of a sudden I went, no, going with Joe. The good. Loved seeing Colby. And I gotta say, Colby, you are even more my Survivor crush in your 50s. But then again, I'm turning 59 in a week, so every man in his 50s is something I gravitate towards. 50 or older. Q, who I thought was annoying, loved loved him. Genevieve, who I didn't like so much in her season, loved her. Camilla, loved her. Obviously, Savannah loved her. She was my USB last season. It was really good to watch people come back in and say, okay, I learned so much from when I played, and I'm going to put that into play now and do a little better. It was amazing to see that intellectual growth. Love for the game still there, intellectual growth. The bad, for super fan, I legit missed 15 seasons of Survivor. I watched the first season, I watched the second season, the third season, and then I just fell off for a while. And I came back in full force with Gen X versus Millennials, and I've never missed an episode since. And that's actually when I found your podcast too. So my super fandom really flared up again in the 30s. It's bad that I didn't get to know Ozzy or Suri, but I'm getting to love them now. So the good, the bad, the ugly. My heart is broken for Kyle. God, he was doing so great when his Achilles tendon. Oh, poor Kyle. I would have loved to see how far he could go. He's just such a lovely person and was having a great run. I have no idea what's going to happen, and isn't that great? I like not knowing. Last season, pre-merge was so predictable. I don't even care if I lose the side challenge and I bottom out on JSFL. I am just here for season 50. It's going to be a wild ride, and I just buckle up. Everybody, have a great weekend. Joanne and Stacy, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thanks, Rebecca. Yeah, I think there's a lot of folks, like we picked up so many fans that came in during the pandemic when they were watching and binging. And so for them to get to see these players right now is really cool. And I'm sure for some of them, it'll point them back in the direction of seasons to go back and watch. Yeah. Good deal. Thanks, Rebecca. Next up, we got a call from Ryan.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. This is Ryan from Central Iowa calling my feedback. Man, episode 1 was good. I enjoyed it. Really good episode, probably an 8 out of 10. Before I get going too deep, I want to give flowers to Dylan, who listens at times and is in my other fantasy league. I'm going back to back, but this season I aim to destroy him. My 4 in my other fantasy league, the 4 people I drafted of this 24, are Christian, Devins, Coach, who is my spirit animal, and Angelina. So I hope they can take me all the way. Back to the episode. Top moments for me. I loved Colby's initial reaction to Rizzo and how he says he is so annoying. He talks so much and does so little work. But then over the course of the days that they were together, Colby starts to see himself in Rizzo. Maybe not work ethic, but age-wise. And then he comes and gives him some life advice and just gets kind of one-on-one emotion with him and says, if you need something from me, let me know. If you want to talk about life, let me know. And Rizzo, that seemed to get real. Were his tears real, Joanna and Stacy? I'm going to say yes. I think they were. I think they were real, because this is a moment that he's talking to one of his idols. Probably emotional for him. Moment number 2, the wonderful dynamic between Christian and Devins. Oh man, Christian got what he wanted. He wanted to play with Devins, and this could be really fun to watch. This back and forth seemed to flow really easy, and I also love that they're bringing in Emily. This could be a fun final 3 group. See how far they can go in the game. Can Emily kind of hold it together? Can she not go off the rails? Moment 3, Genevieve and Aubrey. You want to talk about the opposite conversation, the opposite relationship? This is it. So awkward. Not sure that Aubrey did well in the moment of talking to Genevieve. It felt like she was keeping her at arm's length and holding her back. Survivor 101 says that you should just kind of agree with them. Talk with them. Yeah, that sounds great. I'd love to work with you. But it felt like they were this standoffish 2 peacocks showing their feathers. So there did seem to be awkward moments throughout the episode, especially with the old school players. It just felt like they were trying to feel their way around the episode. As Jenna on his podcast before the season, Tyson Apostle said that the biggest weakness was, can she not go Jenna on this episode, on this season? Could she, if she could hang back by the fire and let people come to her. She could go far, but no, she could not. What a bummer to lose Kyle like we did. Hate to see him go. Hate to see him get hurt and leave the episode the way they did. 2 players on one team losing their vote, and then Mike White calling out Coach. Oh my goodness. So many good things in this episode. I cannot wait to hear what the rest of the fans think. Thank you again, Joanne and Stacy.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. Good job.
And yeah, I absolutely thought Rizzo's tears were genuine.
I always wondered with him, so I remain slightly suspicious. I know he got choked up when he was talking about his parents, so
Yeah.
probably, but you never know with Rizzo. He's always working angles.
Well, true. Will his sentimentality keep him from being cutthroat? Absolutely not. Will Colby not get irritated with him again? Absolutely not. He will.
Yeah.
So, I think it was a nice moment, but I'm not sure that it's going to have any long-term effect.
Okay.
So we'll see.
All right. Next up, we got an email from Crystal in Santa Rosa, California.
Hello, everyone. So great to be back for Survivor 50. I thought this first episode was great. It's been hard to get my bearings with such a large, fantastic cast of players, but here goes. I chose Rick to be voted out first because of the pre-game interviews. Yeah, they were negative.
He wasn't making a good impression.
Yeah. It seemed to me that a lot of players were saying he was a faux or fake or smarmy in some way. I think he must have done a good job at toning himself down because that wasn't the vibe the episode gave him, or at least the edit didn't show it. His alignment with Christian was smart, and that will probably get him further in the game. Love the Captain Kirk Spock theme. Jenna was my new Savannah, and I was thrilled she went first. In her pregame interview, she was way too confident, and I think she said murder too much. She came in hot, and even the old schoolers like Ozzy seemed to squirm at that style. So yay for everyone who saw that minefield coming. Coach is annoying me already, and Ozzy's unbreakable bond with Sari this early surprised me. I'm not so sure that she is devoted back, but I'm sure she'll use it to her advantage. Everyone's eyes are on her performance more than ever, though, so I hope she can pull out some challenge moves that don't have her on the weakest link list. What the heck is going on with Aubrey? She was way too intense with that Genevieve interaction. Awkward. She seems a bit flat and depressed already. I don't have a read on her, but it's not the same Aubrey. I also can't sense who will throw her a smile or a hand yet. Colby. He has good intuition, but has no idea how to use it. Stephanie, on the other hand, is smart, vibrant, and still very strong. Impressive. I picked Joe for my USB because I liked his preseason interview best. He just seems like the most balanced guy out there. My advice to him is don't get on the wrong side of Christian. Tread with caution. Q doesn't bother me as much as I thought. Angelina bothers me more. I just didn't want her there. I mean, we could have had Tyson or Kim or Parv or Earl or Ty. Should I go on? Dee and Tiff won't last long. I don't think Dee has the people skills she thinks she has with this group. She feels superficial this time around. Sad to see Kyle go, but enough people have said they won't allow a winner to progress. So I didn't have him pegged to go far anyway. Speaking of winners, did you feel the mic drop when Savannah revealed she won? I think she was waiting for a standing ovation. Figures. Okay, that's it for now. Can't wait to hear the other fans' reactions on Saturday. P.S. Mike's abs look like AI. Good for you, Mike. All right. Thanks, Crystal. I'm sure he'd get a kick out of that. Up next, we have a call from Samantha.
Samantha's back.
This is Samantha, a.k.a. Survivor Rocks from Texas. Previously on Survivor. We loved the first 5-minute intro. So many memories came flooding back from the last 25 years. Kudos to the editing department. 3 hours just flew by for me. My husband hasn't seen the last few seasons, but said he was going to watch this one with me. He was really liking the cast and singled out liking Coach and Colby as soon as they hit the beach. Two of my favorites as well. We also love some Rick Devens, just like we loved him before, and Q was standing out of the crowd for the both of us. We're glad Exile Island is back. Christian making fire with glasses, equal awesome. We weren't a fan before, but he's starting to grow on me as I think he's grown from the game he played before to even a better game this time around. Rizzo was also annoying my husband, just like he annoyed Colby at first. I said, well, he's one to watch out for. Savannah is coming across as arrogant and announcing she won. Not good. You also didn't kick any Colby's butt. Ozzy is a little sour still from Game Changers, it seems. Bad blood throwing Coach under the bus. We didn't like that at all. But I still like Ozzy, and I want him and his idol to hang around a while. Sorry, Genevieve. I knew Camilla would solve the puzzle, and I think she will go deep into the game if they let her. Some tribe mates could have their blinders on when it comes to Camilla. Watch out for Camilla. I was rooting for Cherie and for Ozzy. Jenna, your tribe has spoken. Sorry, Kyle. I enjoyed your first season. Good to know you had surgery and you're expecting a baby in May. We also really enjoyed this first episode of Survivor. Survivor is back. Until next time, keep the torch lit.
Awesome. Thanks, Samantha.
Wait, May.
Uh-huh.
Does that mean he'll miss the finale?
Could be. Depends on when, obviously.
Baby
we
finale.
might get a live update during the finale.
Oh, not a good time for his wife to travel either, so... Okay.
Next up, we got a call from Tara.
Hi, everyone. This is Tara in New York. And wow, what a premiere. I have to give big props to production right off for that intro. It gave me chills. I got teared up. I could watch that over and over and over. I think I've watched it 20 times and I could watch it 20 more. It was spectacular. What a great beginning. I recruited 2 new JSFL players for
Excellent.
50. My nephew Ryan and one of my oldest and best friends for over 30 years, Sarah. Last year, during 48, Sarah and I visited my nephew in Boston, and we went to a live show, which was a ton of fun. I gave them some homework for 50, and Ryan was so hooked on David versus Goliath that he went back and watched the entire season in about a day and a half, texting me the entire time. So I think we've got a new super fan in the making. Ryan picked Mike for his USB, and funny enough, I picked Suri at the last minute. Those heart tugs got to me, and my friend Sarah picked Jenna. And since Sarah was here watching with me, it was quite the fun experience as our USBs battled it out. Sadly, Sarah was one of the poor 3 souls that lost her USB in the first night at her first try at JSFL, but she's okay. And obviously we were all really sad to see Kyle go since we met him in Boston and he seemed like such a great guy. On the bright side, Camilla seemed really awesome too, and Kyle going may actually help give her a shot at this thing. Moving on, I'll just give a few quick thoughts. Number 1, Mike White. Holy cow, he has a 6-pack. I also love that he's kind of playing dumb, goofy guy, and I think he might be set up well for now, so we'll see where that goes. Christian stole the show this week, easily. I fell in love with him all over again. I loved the scene with Devens in the jungle. I absolutely loved the fire. Stacy, I thought of you immediately. They made fire without Flint.
Yeah.
Thought you'd be so proud. I love the threesome of Devens, Christian, and Emily. That'll be something to watch, but wow, Christian was amazing. I also want to mention Coach and Ozzy really quick. Seeing South Pacific play a huge role in the 50 premiere was not on my bingo card.
Nope.
I'm not too surprised that even though Coach had said he had changed, he went right back to coaching. And I am hoping in the end that Ozzy is going to get his revenge. I'm thinking maybe in a swap or something. Finally, I just want to mention Aubrey real quick. I don't know about everybody else, but that scene made me feel really uncomfortable, and I almost considered Aubrey for a USB at one point. I'm really glad I didn't pick her, but I'm worried for her. She seems on edge. She seems almost angry. I don't know that she's ready to go back and play. I hope she can turn it around, but that has me a little bit worried. I also think Chrissy, Dee, and Savannah could be in trouble in the near future. I'm also not loving the lost votes on Vatu, and I think that's going to come into play soon, so I'm a bit worried about that tribe. I can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy. You guys are the best as always, and have a great week, everyone.
Excellent. Great job, Tara. And welcome Ryan and Sarah.
Yes. Concerning Aubrey, I wondered if, I know she talked about how really very surprised and honored she was to be invited back for 50.
Mm-hmm. Well,
she didn't really expect that.
She hadn't done well her previous returns,
Right.
And they were hard.
And so I feel like she felt like she couldn't pass up this opportunity, but I'm wondering if she's out there. I don't know exactly how old her baby is, but her baby's not that old. I would
Okay.
say not more than a year and a half.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking, I don't know where I got that idea, but that's my idea. But regardless, I'm wondering if she doesn't have a little problem out there with, like, I'm giving up time with my baby for this. I think she might be torn a lot. And she wants to play really good and really hard, but I don't know that she seems very distrusting, which that's not a bad thing, but just the way she went about it seemed so odd. So I'm wondering if she's not struggling with the whole family versus playing Survivor.
Maybe, yeah.
Because she not had that before.
That
when she
interchange is really suspicious. You can play all these tricks with an edit. Like you can have someone say something and you can cut to someone else's reaction and they look like they could care less about what's being said. And that could have been recorded at a different time. So the way you can manipulate the edit to make an exchange look like it was in someone's favor, not in someone's favor. Those kind of things are old tricks with reality shows.
So you're suspecting the edit?
I really was. I absolutely thought something was going on there. They were trying to tweak it in a different direction. But Kyle did say that people had similar interactions with her that Genevieve had. He had heard similar descriptions. So, yeah. So much for my edit theory.
Yeah.
Something else is off. She's misplaying it. It's very suspicious the way that worked, though, the reaction shots and all that. Anyway, I guess I'm still not willing to give it up 100%, but good stuff. Thanks, Tara. Next up, we got an email from Matt and Summer in East Tennessee. Hey, Joanne and Stacy and Survivor friends. We didn't send in any feedback last week since we didn't have any real insights due to the stacked cast, and also since we were still processing our time at the Hidden Idol event in Nashville the weekend before. Oh, cool. I was hoping somebody got to go. The event was in the west end of Nashville in Centennial Park, and we got to meet Q, Mama Julie, and Sam. Awesome. We found Q to be just as energetic as he is on screen, Julie to be as personable as she was on the island, that was in season 45, and Sam from 47 to be remarkably polished and well presented. We tried unsuccessfully to get some insight from Q on season 50 and from Sam on his future with the game. Had a blast with probably a couple thousand other super fans, but the bad news is that Matt is now seriously considering applying again after 26-year hiatus. You go, Matt. Apply. You'll have a good time just doing that process. As far as the premiere, what can we say but wow. The initial challenge was as good as it gets, old or new school, and glad to see Stephanie set the pace. Everybody seemed to give it a real go, and we thought Coach was doing a good job rowing. You did? Okay. With Jonathan in the boat, anyone else's efforts would look half-hearted. That's true. Maybe Jonathan's weight in the back had the boat tipped up a little, and maybe that's why Coach wasn't able to get his paddle in the water.
I think Jonathan was just pulling the rope so fast, Coach, he couldn't move that fast.
Well, they're talking about the paddling on the way back.
Oh, the paddling
now.
on the way back. Okay.
Remember that was funny because
Coach
was shallow paddling. He wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
which I'm pretty sure we saw him do in Tocantins.
Yeah, I was
That
gonna
kind of
say,
thing,
I
South
don't
Pacific.
think
It's
that had anything.
if there's an
to do with
opportunity
y'all.
not to give full effort, but describe the amazing effort you're giving, that would be a coach moment.
That's a true coachism.
Yeah. Okay, we went back and forth so much on the initial vote out that we outsmarted ourselves. In retrospect, Jenna made sense since, in a way, she was the jigsaw puzzle piece that didn't quite fit. And as Matt says, if you even whisper Sari to yourself as a vote out option, you'll suffer the consequences. And that has to be why we picked her as our USB.
All right.
It was very disappointing to see Kyle go out on the medical. We knew he was in pretty bad shape right after the challenge, and we were surprised that Joe didn't hurt himself in his final effort as well, what with his hard crash into the wall. Speaking of those walls, that what is it? The show that we've watched is American Ninja. Remember the wall at the end where they've got to run up?
Okay.
And grab, and I saw something that said people hurt themselves really bad on those things very frequently. It's just a byproduct of that design with running up there and then falling back down, that you land really poorly with a lot of force. And of course, Kyle did it 3 times in a row, which just did him in.
Okay.
But it was cool to see Dr. Joe back on the island. It's hard to express how excited we are to share our favorite show with all our community here, and we're looking forward to the feedback for this season as much as we are the show. So many other topics we could cover, but we'll leave it here. Looking forward to what all the other superfans have to say, and thanks for all you do. Thank you, Matt and Summer. Good job. Thanks for sharing your adventure there. Next up, we got a call from Chris.
Hey, Joanna Stacy. Hey, Survivor fans. I really like the new logo for the season. It's clean and it's fun in a comic book sort of way. I like the way Coach is taking on this Qui-Gon Jinn type of character. He's really matured well. I'm wondering if Ozzy and Q searched Exile Island for any kind of an advantage. There might have been something. You never know. Volleyball, satellite phone. I thought the scene where the 3 boats pulled off into the open water was amazing. Y'all remember when high-definition television was new and people would go out and buy a new TV set, but there'd be nothing to watch on it, so they would have channels that would just show 4K video. And this was better than that, and we get a game show that comes with it. That's great. When they use their eyeglasses to make fire, that really was fire. Natural wall rules, and they need to use it in the game. Heck, maybe they could invent a radio and hear what production is talking about. They did it on Gilligan's Island. 700-something survivors and still no Gilligan? Oh, we've got some good showmances going on. I like the Oz-Ree alliance of Ozzy and Siri, and I like the Risby alliance. I think Risby sounds better. The new water hole is really nice. It reminds me of one of those portable ice cream carts. I'm taking it back. Don't lose our Flint, Uncle Jay. I'm so glad I didn't have to hear that. The tribal vote music was awesome. It was nostalgic and respectful. And something reminded me of a jambalaya pot, but I can't make out my notes at this point. It was a great episode. Have a great week, everybody.
Maybe it was when Ozzy was cooking the cassava.
Maybe, but I'm glad somebody else has trouble reading their own notes sometimes, too. Not just me.
Yeah, I think that happens to us in the recap show quite often, huh? We're trying to scribble so fast.
Yeah.
Good job.
Which was so funny. That's how we missed the title of the show. You know, we were taking notes and thinking about, you know, what Mike had said.
When he says FOMO.
Yeah.
When he says the acronym.
Yeah, and it was like, oh yeah, I know that. And we totally spaced that.
Yeah, that's where he said epic party. Yeah.
And I think it took I didn't see the
Third.
first part with you. Well, it was the third time, but I had said you'd already moved past that. I didn't see that. The first part of you were already checking it. But I knew it wasn't in the rest that I watched with you. Mm-hmm. So we went back for my second time, Stacey's third, and finally heard it. Because I said, it's got to be at the beginning. It has to be at the beginning.
Yep.
I thought Jeff said it, so I was really listening to him. But anyway, Mike's the one that said the title of the show.
Yeah. Good deal. Good job, Chris. Thanks, buddy. Next up, got a call from Lori.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Lori from Southwest Florida, calling in with my feedback from the 3-hour premiere. I pretty much enjoyed all of it. At the beginning was really exciting, seeing all the old scenes from the very, very beginning. Makes you miss the 39 days, but I guess we'll have to somehow cope with what we've got because it's still a great show. I was sorry to see Suri in such a bad spot with Jenna. I thought maybe they could have worked together, but I guess Jenna has her own thoughts on getting out anyone who she considers a winner or too popular. I would have liked to see both of them stay, but then again, who I don't like that I would have wanted voted out, I'm not really sure. So far, I'm liking everybody of what they're showing. Ozzy has long been one of my favorites. I actually named my dog after him 18 years ago. But all in all, I was very happy to see a little bit of everybody. I thought we got a lot of camp scenes, plus strategy scenes. Not too much Rizzo, but maybe that'll change. Who knows? Not sure what's going to happen. It looks like with Kyle being evacuated, that team might have some issues. I guess we'll just have to tune in next week and watch. Looking forward to hearing what everybody else thought. Again, thank you so much, Joanne and Stacy, and thank you all the other Survivor fans. Take care.
Great job. Thanks, Lori. Next up, got an email from Michael in Utah.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Hello, Survivor fans. I was not looking forward to this season above all other seasons. From the moment that it was announced until airing, I was just bummed. Returning players that have been on 3, 4, and 5 seasons was just a preseason disappointment to me. I didn't listen to Jabbick for the first time. I was calendaring my online episode view time to Sunday evening, and I was about to ignore JSFL completely. I didn't see a single pregame video or interview. You see, I'm a bit of a Survivor addict. I only watch one TV show faithfully, and any others are forced upon me by my wife. I watch the Survivor channel and videos during my breaks, and there are some seasons that have soured my taste, namely any season that has a player on for the 3rd time, and especially any season with Boston Rob. So, with the season 50 lineup, I went into a mild state of depression. Thankfully, my conscience got the better of me. I made a desperate late-hour JSFL pick and bumped up my viewing time. I was able to watch the episode on Thursday evening and was impressed, to say the least.
Dun, 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 dun.
The introductory montage was so well done. The lineup, the flashbacks, the challenges, it all came together, and I felt like a huge sense of relief.
Excellent.
It was when I listened to Joanne and Stacy's recap that I finally settled into my home space. There is an undefined sense of security that comes once I get back into the rhythm of this familiar routine. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy. I really, really appreciate you. That's all for now. Remember, you are welcome at my fire anytime. Aw, thank you, Michael. That was very sweet.
Yeah, appreciate
and I'm
that.
so glad you got your mojo back with the show.
Uh-huh.
So, excellent.
Good deal. Next up, got a call from Drew.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. Hey, everyone. This is Drew. So, here's what happened. I listened to the part 1. It was Wednesday, because I usually listen to the podcast on Survivor Day, but I usually listen to the listener feedback show on Survivor Day, because then I make my final pick. So I got pulled into work, and I was like, I'll listen to it later. I did listen to it later. And as I was finishing, I was like, oh, it's actually Wednesday, because I usually watch the show with my kids on Thursday, the day after when it comes up on Paramount Plus. And I was like, you know what? I should probably put in my picks. And do you know what time it was? It was like 5:34, Mountain Time, which means I was 4 minutes late. Putting in not only any picks for the first episode, the premiere, but also picking a USB 24. You guys, I've set myself so far back before the season even started. But you know what? Challenge accepted. I made my bed. I'm going to lie in it. I don't think I would have picked Jenna to go first. I might have even picked Kyle safe. So I think, let's just say, I only put myself out 3 points, right? So I'm only a few points behind. It's not the worst thing ever. That's something you can make up in a couple of weeks. So it's going to happen. I'm going to be okay. In fact, I listened to the part 2 and I listened to your recap this morning. or part 2 yesterday, recap this morning, whatever it was. I'm caught up, and I already put in picks, just in case. I don't know if they're my final picks, but that's okay. I put in picks, so there's that. And I am still registered because I'm pretty active, obviously. But this was actually a really great premiere for me. I first of all stayed awake the whole time. We watched the entire thing in one sitting. I even got home a little bit late from work. Kids were up late, and they were delighted, and Julie and I were like, oh my gosh, what have we done? But I enjoyed every minute. I stayed awake. I mean, there was a couple things I was just like, oh my gosh, these people, like, Coach cannot help himself. He just can't. I kind of disappointed Suri. That was unfortunate. But Ozzy I really liked, which I've never really liked Ozzy since his first time out. Christian I really liked. I've never was a huge Kyle fan, but I was bummed. I wasn't, like, emotional. No one was crying. But I was like, dang it, that's too bad. But it was a great premiere. Even the challenges, yeah, there were relays and whatever. It's always down to the puzzle, but I just really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to this season. It's kind of nice actually to be really familiar with people, even if they're not people I would have picked. Like Angelina, I didn't have a problem with. These people didn't really bug me like I thought they would. Even Coach, yeah, he can't help himself, but like Jonathan's awesome. Colby is great. I can't believe that he looks like a middle-aged kind of guy because he always looks exactly the same in my head. But Stephanie is great. Even Savannah, yeah, there was some cringe when she was, you want to know how I did? I got fired. Like, okay. Read the room, as a friend of mine said. But I think they're setting that up a little bit, the edit and whatever. But yeah, really looking forward to it. Even though I complain usually about a long episode, I did not even, what bothered me most was the commercials. But aren't I paying for this streaming service and I still got to watch commercials? Like, well, yes. But anyway, I hope everyone has a good weekend. Welcome back. It's great to be back in Survivor, and season 50 is going to be fun, I hope, but the kids were delighted too. I don't know who they are really rooting for right now. Adelaide still really likes Savannah. In her mind, she was a worthy winner, and I think she's happy to see her again. But anyway, talk to you later. Bye.
All
You
right.
goofball.
Good attitude, Drew.
No picks. Yeah, you'll redeem yourself quickly. It'll all work out.
Or we'll hear Drew sing, which that's not a
That
bad
works.
thing in my book.
Next up, we got a call from David.
Hey, Joanna and Stacy, it's David in Pittsburgh. Wow, what a great opening episode of the 50th season of Survivor. I had a smile on my face the whole time, tears at the end. It was really, really a great episode. I really enjoyed it. But I have a complaint. So last season, we had a 2-hour opener and then hour-and-a-half episodes. This season, we have a 3-hour opener, so I demand we get 2-hour episodes from now on. I'm going to circulate a petition and send it to Jeff. 1.5-hour episodes is just not enough time. I'm going to be all over the place with my thoughts. One of the things was I thought that they didn't pre-select the teams because Jeff gave him those little the buffs in the little whatever covers, handed them out, and I kept thinking, wow, it really seems like the teams are so well divided. And I watched it a second time this morning and still thought that, and then I went back just recently and watched it on Paramount Plus, just that part, and saw he says pick the little baggie with your name on it. So they were pre-selected. That really confused me. Of the players this season, I'd say the majority of them, I could be happy with their win, but one that I would not have been happy was Jenna. Even before the first episode, I had read things that she had said. She was going to come in very cutthroat, and she did. She really came in playing way too aggressively. From what we saw, she was the first one to mention Cerise's name, and she went around spreading it around. I think she could take a page out of Camilla's playbook, because when Camilla on her team was asked to be in that 3 Girls Alliance and who she would want out, her comment was anybody but me, and let them suggest the name. You go in guns blazing and you could be hit with the ricochet. And speaking of Camilla's team, I saw how Chrissy was already talking about being diabolical and what she's going to do to cut people's throats. And I thought, yep, she's playing way too hard. You will already see that she's not with the other women in her tribe, and that's not surprising because of the way she played in the past. Oh my gosh, I'm already out of time. I'll just say one other thing. Colby and Ozzy need to be sure not to be playing against their younger selves. It looks like Colby has learned his lesson, not so sure about Ozzy. And even though Ozzy was the one that went to bat for Sari against Jenna, I really think Christian was the one that pulled the group together and got Jenna out instead of Sari. Anyway, I'm done. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Excellent. Fantastic. Thanks, David. Next up, got an email from Maddie in Arizona. Hey, everyone. I'm back for another season of Survivor, but I must say I had an extremely difficult time with my picks last week. My mom and I listened to every Survivor podcast we know of, which is pretty much just yours and Rob Sesternino's. There's so many out there. But I still had no idea who to choose as my USB, who was being voted out, and most terrifying of all, who wasn't going to be voted out. You would think there would be less pressure after already seeing everyone play, but there's so many unpredictable strategists on each tribe like Rick, Dee, Emily, Angelina, Charlie, Camilla, Tiffany, Aubrey, Genevieve, Savannah, and I guess Ozzy? I couldn't even mark down Jonathan as a safe with the thought that people might want to take him out before he'd get to the merge, which, after watching the episode, now seems really unlikely. I was still unsure at the time, though, so I just randomly selected the first 4 people listed on the JSFL page and the 5th person to go home. Well, that works.
That's a strategy.
Sure. There was a doctor who voted that way on Survivor.
Yeah.
I took my USB more seriously because in my mind, that's what matters most. I decided through systematically putting 2 players side by side and taking the one who seemed to have better chances, this landed me with Angelina, and so far she seems to be doing okay. And while she isn't getting a lot of screen time, I take it as a good sign that she's flying under the radar. Anyhow, I thought this was a really good episode. To be honest, I had to rewatch it again due to the fact that I was exhausted during the 3-hour premiere. I was glad I did too, because there was a lot of stuff I missed, including Genevieve's boomerang idol. That concept caught my attention, but I thought it was really unnecessary for Billie Eilish to be part of it. That's funny. I think the producers were just trying to draw more attention to their show by interweaving pop culture into it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Coach is already bugging me 1 episode into the season. For one, did anybody else notice how much he was standing in front of Camilla when they first arrived on the beach? It was almost like she wasn't even there. And secondly, while I respected his move to steal Ozzy's key, he couldn't even admit that he did it. I think I would do the same thing, but it was really uncalled for him to say he did it honorably. Next week, I think that unfortunately Sari will be the one to go home. I love watching her play, but it isn't looking very good for her tribe, and the blame will most likely go towards her. But without Kyle, Vatu could also be the one to send someone home. I'm not totally decided, so I'm looking forward to hearing what everyone else has to say. Thank you, Joanne and Stacy. Thank you, Addie. Great to have you back this season.
Don't choose Sari, Addie. It's not going to be her.
There you go. You heard it from Joanne. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana, and man, I really love this episode. I feel like this was one of the best premieres of all time. I feel like it's right up there with Heroes vs. Villains, which is probably the best of all time. Even the stuff that I didn't like, what the fans voted on, if the fans actually voted on that, is a little sus. Definitely not what I voted, but hey, you know what? Whatever. All of that stuff, the Billie Eilish boomerang idol of it all, that doesn't matter. None of that matters because narratively, the important thing in this episode was the players and their stories, not their sob stories. Yeah. Not, oh, when I was a kid, somebody made fun of me and now I'm going to prove that person wrong. No, it's maybe how their life has changed since they played, maybe how Survivor has changed them, more so just how they interact with each other. This was done so well. It really was. There's a couple nitpicks here and there, but overall as an episode, this was fantastic. I mean, you get stuff like Devin's and Christian duo, the Charlie and Coach of it all. Mike White was amazing in this episode, and the Camilla D Tiff alliance, which I don't know how well that's gonna go, but And then the Suri and Ozzy's duo I think is going to be great, unless Ozzy gets blindsided early here, which could happen. Oh, and Emily's story and how it mirrors Genevieve's story on the other tribe of how they were accepted right out the bat, which is not how their first experience went. And they were just like surprised by that. And just the Colby and Steph reuniting and bringing in Kyle and then bringing in Genevieve and Q, surprisingly. Also, Exile randomly returning, which was super funny. And I love how Ozzy just cracked up when he read that thing because he's like, I spent so much time on Exile. What the heck? It was so perfect. Even people I didn't like Rizzo, and has this touching moment with Colby, which was so good. And Colby, I picked him as a USB, and watching this episode, I was so happy about that because every moment that Colby had was positive. There was not a negative, oh, here's Colby, bumbling idiot, like here's his villains. Even his moment where he's, hey, I can't hear out of this in my left ear very well, and I also have terrible eyesight, just so you know. Every moment with him was so good, and it makes me very hopeful for his trajectory this season. Also, losing Jenna, I don't really care about because I don't like Jenna that much. And also, don't target Suri first vote. What are you doing? But Christian and Devins and Ively navigating around that. And it was so good. It was so good. It was so good. It was such a good episode until Kyle gets medevac. Not eliminated. Kyle has never been voted out as Survivor. That's pretty awesome. I know that people don't like 48, and I get it. But Kyle, other than Rachel, is my favorite New Era winner, and I was so excited to see him back. Poor Kyle, man. In his exit press, he talks about how he really argued with Jeff for much longer than what we saw. Jeff just shows his heart for the game. But the really thing that sucks about this is what's left in the game now, this majority alliance on that tribe. They're down 2 votes and a player, and they didn't lose a single freaking challenge. And that's where I hate the lost votes. This is a bummer. This is bad for my boy Colby, but I have faith that Colby's going to persevere through this because it was such a good episode for Colby. Okay, that's all I got. I will see you all next time.
Good job. Thanks, Parker.
Glad to see that enthusiasm.
Next up, we got a call from Shahin.
Hi, Joe and Stacey and to all Survivor fans. Hope everyone's well and safe. Before we get into Survivor, from my point of view, I'd like to thank everyone that gave their very kind words after the birth of my daughter Cleo, and especially from the two of you, I guess, and creating such a beautiful atmosphere to be able to share these moments. You know, when I was a kid, I grew up watching someone like Coach, someone like Colby. Colby was the one I probably looked up to the most, and now that my daughter's here, who knows Survivor 50 onwards, she'll probably be able to understand who is who from season 60 onwards if this great game continues. We don't know, but from the way that season 50 has started, I think sky's the limit once again if they can just carry on with how this season started. But yeah, again, I'd like to thank everyone that's given their kind words about Cleo, and yeah, great to find out from either one of you, Joe and Stacey, that one of your parents' names is Cleo. I wasn't sure who, because I don't know who runs the socials. If it's just one of you that bobs in and out from time to time. But yeah, it's a coincidental, and yeah, it's a great name. Something that we landed on a while ago. With the game itself, I'm excited, and it saddens me actually that I am so excited. Like, I think we're all meant to be super, super amped up for 50, but it just puts such a big, big red cross through 49. The fact that this was just looming and we were all just hankering for it. And the fact that 49 was just such a letdown in comparison. I mean, this is an amazing start for a season. I haven't seen it. It's probably because we're not used to it, right? Recency bias of having so many poor seasons. But at the 40s, they've got to find a way to be able to mingle 12 of these newbies with 12 of these old OGs, if you will. And I think they've done a great job so far. The two that have left, I just want to quickly talk about them. Jenna, I thought she just came out so hot. I mean, I haven't looked at an interview at all, but surely on reflection, she would have gone like, yeah, I've really messed up how I went into this. And how cathartic, season 1, the first person in this season 50 in terms of being able to play the game and then being the first person to leave as well. I just thought that she just started on the wrong foot. You don't throw names out so early. Maybe it's just because she hasn't played so long as well. I mean, the social dynamics have changed so much, and who knows what it was like for her back in All-Stars, it being her last season. And just a bit upset for Kyle. I've played sports for 14, 15 years. I know injury. I've done long-term injuries. The way that he landed on that heel, that is just a rupture ruptured tendon from the get-go. That can be a 3 to 6 month injury. So, yeah, hopefully he gets better. Look, I'm upset about him going in polar opposites of how they both left. One was really, really upset and a bit snarky. The other one was, no fault of his own leaving, but very graceful. And look, I'm not too upset about him leaving because I don't want winners to be in this season. And that's probably what I'm more upset about, is that they let them in. But anyway, different story. And something that we can talk about a little bit later. Thanks for what you do. Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
Cheers. Thanks, Shahin.
All right, and welcome, Cleo.
Uh-huh.
That's my mama's name.
We'll be going over to see Cleo after we wrap up this episode.
That's right. I'm going to take her some supper.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Next up, we got a call from Brandon.
Hey there, Joanne and Stacy. Brandon from Indiana here with my Survivor feedback for season 50, episode 1. Wanted to go ahead and get this in now while I'm thinking about it before I forget and then miss the deadline. The thing that stood out to me the most on this episode was the editing. I thought that the editing team really did a good job with what they were tasked with. When it first started and they started going through the history, I was like, oh, this is why it's 3 hours. You're going to give me 30 minutes of this recap. But it wasn't that. It was about the length of maybe a finale recap, I would say. And I thought that they did a great job with the transition from that recap into the real thing. That shot of Jenna was so great. I just, that close-eyed shot just hit me. I was like, that was awesome. And the edits just kind of kept throughout the whole episode. Lots of great shots, lots of interesting things. Thought the cast was fantastic. I just really, really enjoyed myself watching this episode. Definitely curious where things go from here. Thought we were definitely losing Sari for a little bit, but that zoom in on the who's the first person voted out was way too obvious. It was one of those things where I was like, oh, okay, we're not getting Sari voted out tonight. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I definitely am curious about, like, because of the pregame stuff and all of the stuff before listening to that, the interviews and such with Mike Bloom, I had made my USB pick of Colby. I don't know. That seems like a long shot, but also he just seems like he is out and about and enjoying the hell out of this. Maybe that's just him realizing that, he's older. This might be the last chance he gets to do this. But I don't know, something about the way that he is running around the world and taking pictures with everybody. He seems really happy. And so I thought maybe Colby wins this. I'm not necessarily rooting for Colby to win this. It was a strategic decision more than a heartfelt decision. I would love to see Christian win this. There's a number of other players I would like to see win. Camilla would be fun. But I really, really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was hilarious that we started with Coach kind of being the more mature person, saying that he's going to try not to do all these things. And then by the last third of the episode, he's just Coach. He's back to doing his Coach Chi by himself and talking to the camera about how he's going to do this in spite of all the other people and all this stuff. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed that very quick, very short arc there. And I'm very curious where that goes on throughout the rest of the season. But I'm definitely looking forward to hearing everybody else's feedback. I was a little disappointed with the fan votes. I think that they voted against everything that I voted for. So here comes Final Four fire making. Yay! Can't wait till next episode. Definitely excited for the podcast. Thank you guys so much for the podcast as always, and talk to you next week.
All right. Thank you, Brandon. Good job. Next up, got an email from Nicola in Kentucky.
Hello, my Survivor family. There is a chance I have a bit of mojo back.
All right.
It was a solid first episode. Even Q didn't annoy me as much as before. I'm not sure how Sari clung on unless I missed some footage. It seemed like a done deal. Seeing how the old school players have aged was interesting. Of course, they are all way fitter than I am. Rizzo trying to school Colby on the game was cringy. He's lucky Colby is a very even-keeled person and was able to make some comparisons of when he was the same age. It's a shame about Kyle. I hope he's made a full recovery. That's it for now. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks for all you do, Joanne and Stacy. Cheers. All right. Thanks, Nicola.
Yeah, appreciate you checking back in and letting us know how it went for you.
All right. We have a call from Pat up next.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pat from Missouri, driving through Texas this morning, heading home. Hey, I was so happy to hear the excitement in your voices in your recap episode. I feel the same way. 3 hours was definitely not enough. I could have watched for another 3 hours. I really loved the opening episode. I was sad to see Kyle go because from what they showed, and maybe they showed us this because he did go home, but from showing him building alliances, he really looked like he was in a great position, but I guess we'll never know. And then Coach lived up to me not liking him. I just don't like him, but this is a personal thing that I've thought of about and realized. So Coach's very first season, and this is a personal thing, and I'm sorry maybe people don't want to know this or not, but during his very first season, I was going through a divorce, and watching that season of his Survivor, everything was just negative for me. It was just down and a downer that whole time that was going on for me. And so I didn't like Coach. And then every time I see Coach, I think it just reminds me of that time of my life. And so seeing him again on TV, just didn't like it. I hope he goes soon. I just can't stand him. But I loved Ozzy. Thought he did very good. And hope he continues to do good. My USB David was just there, which is what I'm hoping for. Hope he just kind of is just there and makes it to the end. Not a fan of Sari. Never really have liked her. I understand everyone that does like her. She's a very sweet lady and everything. I just don't like how she skates through playing Survivor. I like physical players, and she's definitely not a physical player. I thought she should have went home this episode. I was kind of sad to see Jenna go. I understand she's playing hard, but everybody keeps saying, oh, you have to play hard in this new era. But then when somebody does play hard, they get kind of crapped on. I just kind of, in a way, think that's such a double standard. But Sari, to me, definitely should go, or her tribe does not stand a chance of winning in these physical challenges. And speaking of challenges, I loved these challenges. I love big physical competition challenges. I love water challenges, and we have one coming up next week, it looks like. And I was thinking of next week when they showed a highlight of Coach saying something to Ozzy about whatever. I wish Ozzy could just tell him to F off. I would love that, and I would forever love Ozzy. But love the episode. Love seeing Colby, all his aging things, his eyesight, maybe his memory, whatever. But then I looked at Colby, and I'm like, come on, dude. You're 50 years old. You're still good looking. It's like, give us all of us other guys a chance. But loved it. Loved the episode. Can't wait to hear what all my Survivor friends have to say. And we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks, Pat.
I think Colby was just relatable for people of a similar age, because that's about the time, that all that starts happening. You can't
the cascade.
See. Your eyes get blurry, and you're like, wait, what is happening? I can't see.
And why
it's
does
blurry.
everything hurt?
Yeah, you used to say, why do you walk like that? How come you're so stiff when you stand up? And I'm like, just give it a little more time. You'll find out. But anyway, I thought the thing, I was listening to what Pat said about Sari and her non-physicality, and I thought, but for me, with Sari, I'm in awe of her strategical mind, her ability to watch everything and to see really beyond, use her instinct.
That was in that extra clip, wasn't it, where she told Ozzy?
Oh, was that in the extra clip?
I can't remember if it was the episode. I think it was the extra clip. She said, Ozzy, you need to go spend some time talking to Christian.
No, she's like, go do it.
Yeah.
You go there. Christian brings Rick and Emily. Go get close to Christian.
We get
and
them.
We got
talk.
It. We can't be seen talking.
Yeah.
So like, just go get close to Christian.
Yeah.
That's like, and Ozzy's like, oh.
That was a good example of that.
Here to tell me.
Yeah, that insight.
And I thought, but just, I don't know, that's the part I would miss so much from her. Yeah, realistically, and just looking at the challenge, yeah, I agree. But I'll just call that her Surreisms.
Yeah.
So.
Thanks,
Okay.
Pat. We appreciate you sharing that personal insight, too. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Joe.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all Survivor fans. Congratulations on 21 years of podcasting. I started listening to you many years ago. Not the beginning, but probably around the third or fourth season. I was listening to another Survivor podcast at that time and did not like their format. I searched around Apple Podcast and somehow stumbled onto yours. Well, let's talk about that first episode. I feel that 3 hours was too long, but when I watched, those 3 hours went by real fast. What I liked about the episode was the warm, familiar faces I've seen in the previous seasons. Though I was that one that did not want Savannah or Rizzo playing again. But when I watched it, they were fine. They fit right into the episode. Another person I did not want in season 50 was Suri. Still wondering why they cast her. So I thought that Ozzy has definitely changed, and not all to the better. I did like that he was providing some of the sustenance to the tribe with the roots. I also like the team up with Christian to start the fire. It had been a long time since someone started fire with glass lenses. Good on them both. Also, Mike has a six-pack. That's kind of out of character from last time. On the negative side, what's with the Coach Ozzy feud? I saw the preseason show, South Pacific, but that was over a decade and a half ago. It seems like they're setting the scene for another big head-to-head battle between those two. I hope not. Finally, I was really sad when they pulled Kyle from the game. That is a tough, long-lasting injury. When I had an Achilles tear, it took almost a year to get over it. He must have a high tolerance for pain, because when I had mine, any walking would hurt like crazy. Kyle was saying it didn't bother him. All in all, I think it was a great opening to the new season. I hope they only get better. I won't bring up last season. Well, Joanne and Stacy, stay safe. I will talk to you later. This is Joe signing off.
Good job, Joe. We're certainly glad you found us and been an avid contributor. Next up, we got a call from Justin.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy and all the Survivor superfans. It's Justin from Michigan. So I really loved this episode. I thought it had everything from recapping the last 49 seasons and the beginning of the premiere. I loved all those flashbacks to all of the great Survivor players and the great moments, not just highlighting those that are on this season. I thought that was a really cool tribute. The only gripe I would have is I still think it'd be cooler for these returning player seasons, especially to have captains and divide the tribes that way. But for some reason, Jeff thinks that production can even things out better than the players themselves. The challenges were good. I didn't love the journey challenge. I still wish that would be a little more engaging for the audience. Good for Savannah for winning, but really it was Colby who kind of blew it. And I do like the way that the twists have started this season. The branding of the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol is corny, but the actual idol itself, I think, is a cool idea. Savannah's twist of earning that block vote after Colby had left so he doesn't know, I think that's a cool twist. And the way that they did Q and Ozzy choosing between the supplies and their vote, I thought also was cool. So I like all these decisions that the players are making. It's not all left up to chance. I love that. It was disappointing to see Jenna really go hard after Suri right off the bat, especially I assume she saw Ozzy and Suri talking. It's weird to go after somebody who kind of already has an assumed pair that will advocate for her. If she wanted to lead the charge, why not Savannah? I mean, who's going to stick up for Savannah other than, you could say, yeah, she's good at challenges. That's really her only strong suit. nobody else has any connection to her. That would have been, if you're going to lead the charge, which, I think it's always best to at least wait until you're going to tribal to start throwing people's names out. If you're going to lead the charge, that would be the target, I would think. So I think Jenna kind of sunk her own ship there. Initially, I was kind of hoping Ozzy would go, but now that he has all this ammunition, it's going to be interesting to see how he uses that going forward. As far as the Kyle situation, really unfortunate. I was hoping it was just a rolled ankle. When they did diagnose it as a ruptured Achilles, that's a really tough injury. Normally, I like to say give the players the chance to decide when it's not life-threatening, but I do understand this. It's kind of like, concussions in football where you have to protect the player from themselves. They feel like they're ready to go. They can go back in the game. They can play through it. But really, you're just risking their long-term health, sending them back in the game. So the referees or the league have to pull them when there's a diagnosed concussion. This is kind of the same thing where he could physically push through it, but he risks some serious long-term mobility issues, and that's just not worth it. So for production to pull him in this instance, I think was good. Looking forward, I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm going to lean towards coach as a vote off, just because I think that tribe is going to go to tribal, but who really knows, and really excited to see how this all goes. Hopefully there's not 2 or 3 idols and advantages every single episode, else Paul's visual roster is going to get busy quick. Looking forward to what everyone else has to say.
It's already busy, isn't it? Good job, Justin. There's already, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 notes on there. Good stuff. Next up, got an email from Josh, the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanna and Stacy, okay, I'll admit it. That was great. A great premiere. I'm not a fan of 3-hour tours, but the episode really flew by. But I feel bad for Kyle, and I'm fearful that Dr. Joe may be featured more in the future. Let's hope not. Here's my other observations. Nothing says battle coming like being marooned on a beach in a troop carrier. Yeah. If you had told me someone who was 48 would get medevaced, I would have guessed age, not season. Yeah, it's good. My godmother used to say, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. Sari knows this. Jenna, not so much. What does dynamic advantage mean? Does it only work while you're doing the Macarena? Yeah, I don't know. That was they just gave themselves all kind of leeway by labeling them that way. Christian Hubicki, the science guy, conquering Survivor through science. I have a sick feeling that the most important returnee is going to be Dr. Joe. Say it ain't so. When I started reflecting in my 50s, I immediately covered my mirrors. Devins is Kirk, Christian is Spock. Is Dr. Joe Bones? Mike White's version of a New Age Survivor Goliath comes with six-pack abs. So long and thanks for all the fish. Devins must think that Ozzy is mostly harmless. I was surprised that my closed captioning knew who Jay Wolf was. Instead of the old Ozzy, we've got old Ozzy. Instead of the old Ozzy, we've got old Ozzy, complete with trash back. Yeah, Ozzy, I think it was Mike Bloom. He had a bunch of notes on the episode because he was out there when the first few days happened. And he said that Ozzy had wrenched his back doing deadlifts just before he came out.
Yeah. So he's jumping off the tall pole and doing all that stuff and up there for an hour or 45 minutes or however long.
He's already physically damaged, yeah.
Yeah.
Did we have a 3-hour premiere just so we could fit in a 10-minute montage? This cast skews older than usual. Given the physical demands, the reward should have included Advil and Bengay. Jeff loves Survivor history and dangerous fun, and he has a cast size problem. He should fit the Sandra and Rob idol heads with paint guns and play red light, green light to thin the herd. Oh. With his haircut, gray beard, and hoop earring, Ozzy looks like an extra from Pirates of the Caribbean. What did Jenna learn from this season? Don't target Sari on day 1. When Jeff had the tray of buffs, he fooled me into thinking the teams might be random draws. I think that you thought that too, didn't you?
Yeah.
Colby, it takes a lot of work for Rizzo to find that much to talk about. Who has time for chores? Dee finds everything beautiful in Fiji, even the butt-wiping leaves. I guess they don't have poison ivy there. Chrissy needs the millions so she can afford HBO Max and watch season 3 of The White Lotus. It just seemed like an odd, almost a backhanded thing to say. Ozzy's a silence equals consent kind of guy. Coach's approach is more, is it in writing? I'm hoping that Exile Island got sent to the edge of extinction. Yeah.
I like that.
Coach will be cutthroat and honorable. Isn't that an oxymoron like Jumbo Shrimp? Oscar is a quick-talking negotiator. He's also a grouch. Season 1's Jenna said she was first in, first out. Could Last In Season 49 produce the winner? Colby and Q's core 5 majority only has 3 votes. Culpepper math at its finest. Kyle's Achilles heel was his Achilles tendon. Will Genevieve get the boomerang idol if Ozzy quits or is medevaced? The note only seemed to mention being voted out. Is that why the edit is paying so much attention to Ozzy's bad back? Could be. Next time Ozzy and Coach have beef, Christian's wife will divorce him. Colby wrestles a giant snake and Coach is in distress while fishing. Is the sea crate a returnee too? Uh-oh. Anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks, Joanna and Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks, Josh. Good job, buddy. Next up, we got a call from Jill.
Hi, Joanne and Stacey. Hi, Survivor fans. Jill in the Outback here. I thought that was a great episode of Survivor. It was good to see the old favourites and jog my mind on the ones that I didn't remember so much. Had to laugh at like Ozzy with a sore back and everyone with glasses and Colby who can't hear out of his whatever side he sort of reminds you that you're getting old. Jenna was crazy to mention Cerie's name. As soon as she did that, she was gone. It's almost like she's never seen Cerie play before. And what has happened to Aubrey? The first Aubrey that we ever saw way back when, how good she was, and she was almost so good that nobody could see the moves that she was playing, and she got beaten by a social threat, and she has just never played the same since. And her interaction there with, whose name I can't remember,
Genevieve.
But how awkward was that? And she just didn't have to make it that way. I predict that she's not going to last long. It didn't take long for Savannah to remind us how smug she is with her, how do you think I went? I can't imagine that she is going to last much longer either. There was a little smattering of strategy from Joe, which was unexpected but good to see. Mike White and Q were the ones last week that I said I didn't really go much on. I warmed up a little bit with Q, not so much with Mike White. I wish we had seen more of Tiffany. I really hope that she goes a long way. I can't think of anyone else at the moment, but the funny thing this year with Survivor here in Australia, they've taken it off Channel 9, which had ads in it. And so when they're talking about the 3-hour premiere, it's now on a streaming platform and no ads at all, which I had a bit of a whinge about it being moved to a paid platform, but having no ads was pretty good. And it only went for 2 hours and eight minutes. So there was 52 minutes of ads in the free-to-air version, which is just unreal, isn't it? Okay, that'll do me. Happy days, everyone. Let's catch you next week. Bye.
Thanks, Jill. We thought the same thing when we went to rewatch on Paramount Plus.
The next morning.
Yeah. That's the first thing we did. We just paused it to see how long it was going to be. And we're like, holy smokes. That's almost an hour of ads that they have us sit through. Good stuff. Thanks, Jill. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California, and here are my thoughts on Survivor 50, Episode 1. What a great first episode. I enjoyed every minute of it. And commenting on 3 hours worth of Survivor is a big task. So I'm just going to pick a few things and do my best. For starters, I agree with you, Joanne. The purple buff is not purple. If we can take the care to be specific and call the blue buff teal, we certainly can call the Vatu buff what it is, which is fuchsia or magenta. Definitely not purple. It is leaning pink, very pink. And very pretty. One of the best looking buffs I've seen in a long time, and as a matter of fact. I can't believe we got an Ozzy versus Coach moment right off the bat. And I will say this about the challenge. I found it so interesting the way all 3 players chose to approach the challenge. Ozzy worked so hard and in the end tried to manipulate the other 2 into just giving up and giving the key to the person who knocked it off the peg, which I'm pretty sure Ozzy was sure it was going to be him. I also think that Coach's approach to the challenge was sitting back and waiting and just stealing the key was an absolute legitimate strategy. And even Q's strategy, which I'm just going to assume was just putting in as little effort as possible and watching and waiting, was good too. And so, Ozzy was a little bit salty, but I thought it was a great challenge. I liked watching the tribes getting to know each other and was so interested to see who's clicking with each other and who's not clicking. I don't know that I would have picked Rick Devens, Emily, and Christian as 3 people who would get along so easily and so quickly. And I think they're a great trio, by the way. I was shocked to see Aubrey corner Genevieve so bluntly and so quickly in a situation where everyone is trying to build relationships and have positive interactions. The Aubrey and Genevieve interaction stood out to me as very uncomfortable to watch. I was sorry to see Jenna, the only player from season 1, get voted out first, and I was really sorry that we also had a medical evacuation so soon. I think Kyle was really positioning himself well, which was shocking to me considering he's a winner, and I kind of thought that he'd be targeted and kind of be a pariah. So I'm glad he's okay, but sorry that his opportunity got cut short by the injury. And last but not least, I cannot believe how many twists and advantages are already in the game. Ozzy has an extra vote, and the, what do we call it, the Billie Eilish boomerang idol? Savannah has a block a vote. Genevieve sent the boomerang idol. Colby has no vote. Q has no vote. I think a lot of people are playing real well right now. I think that Sari, Chrissy, Angelina, and maybe Aubrey might be a little bit vulnerable. I didn't take any notes on this episode because I just wanted to watch it and take it all in. So my feedback is a little all over the place, or at least I feel like it is, but I can't wait to hear what everyone else has to say. This is a good start to the season. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to hear everyone else's impressions. Till next week.
Excellent. Thanks, Jen. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul, Louisiana here, and I have to say that was what I wanted to see in an opening Survivor episode. Our players knew exactly what needed to be done and immediately set upon doing all of that. There was little bickering about who should be doing what, and everyone more or less pitched in and got the ball rolling. Save for maybe Rizzo, but that was almost certain to be expected because he plays new Survivor, not old. Now, in terms of predictions, I will say that I certainly picked the wrong tribe as the weakest, but I'm fine with Genevieve as my USB. I also think that Jenna, Jonathan, Aubrey, Coach, and Savannah stumbled in this first episode. Jonathan pulled a Jenna and started pitching Dee's name right out of the gate, and that's a Survivor no-no. When it comes to targeting people, you have to let everyone settle in with each other, or you just look like you're playing too hard. I just can't help but think that it was bad form. And when it comes down to Jenna, I think that she was entirely correct, and that it should have been Sari who left the game due to her pitiful performance. Had Jenna not started pitching Sari's name out so hard before the challenge, well, she could have very well have had everyone siding with her, and Sari would have gone home. Too hard, girl. And Coach, well, as I saw in the 10 repeated episodes in the last 2 weeks, the camera is rarely to ever his friend. He has these lofty goals of being a Christian soldier with these super heightened laws of loyalty and morality, but then he just can't live up to those lofty goals. Stop saying all of that stuff and you'll be fine. I think what he really needs is a life coach. And then there was the Aubrey and Genevieve interaction. Now that was awkward. And maybe I'm biased, but I honestly believe it was Aubrey who made it so uncomfortable. I certainly hope she isn't like this in all of her private conversations. I mean, can she not read faces, or is she just trying to intimidate people this time around? And lastly, we have poor Savannah, who so horribly botched her lie about returning empty-handed that even the crabs on the beach were shaking their heads. I loved how everyone was laughing about it when she walked away. But you know, this is going to haunt her for sure, and show her that she isn't out there playing with fools this time around. Oh, and Mike, why did you bring up the whole Coach and Ozzy thing in front of the entire tribe? It was almost like, well, no, it was like he wanted to embarrass Coach in front of everyone. Maybe Mike is working on a Dragon Slayer shield to further his own game? But, you know, Coach, if you didn't think your actions might have been underhanded, and I honestly don't think that they were, because let's face it, that challenge was set up for it to end as it did. But, yeah, if he wasn't embarrassed about handling it the way he did, he should have just owned up to it as soon as he returned with the reward in his hand. And acting so dejected after it all came out just made it look even worse for him. And of course, I hated to see Kyle go out like that, even more so since I had him as safe this week. But you know what? Jenna's exit was fine with me. I had no feelings about her either way because it's been so long since I've really seen her. So who's next to go? Who knows? But if Scylla loses again and Sari is the cause, then she's going to be ancient history. Lastly, everyone on Scylla now officially knows that there are idols out there since Jeff asked if anyone wanted to play one. And was anyone else impressed at how Ozzy was able to cast out his tied together sticks over and over again without them falling apart? It was almost as though it was fly fishing or whatever. At any rate, it sure impressed me. So I guess that's it on my end. I think we all can't wait to see what next Wednesday brings us, so hurry up and get here. That's it for me. Everyone take care. Bye.
That's perfect. Hurry up and get here.
I know.
That's
We've
how I
been
feel.
feeling that way
Yep.
too.
You bet.
Looking at the roster, which we always do when we record, there is so much stuff, like you were saying, up there, except nothing on the Kalo tribe at all.
Kalo, yeah. They're unblemished.
Is it Kalo? Is that what they've been calling it?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I'm sure we're going to
I
bounce
may be
between them.
challenged
Yeah.
with that, but okay.
Yeah.
Kalo tribe, nobody has
Kalo.
anything. Oh, okay. Well, afraid it's going to be in my mind that way.
I think Paul's right. Mike he did do that to get at Coach a little bit. Just like he was pointing out Dee's teeth. I think on some level that'll mess with her a little bit too.
Yeah.
And because
he's got that snarky.
He's got that dopey look.
What was it he said? Are those real?
Like those chompers, those real?
Yeah.
So she said no,
No,
owned it.
they're not real.
So
Hello,
that's where he
you're from
left
Hollywood.
it. Yeah.
You can spot that.
Yeah. I think he's going to, basically it makes certain people have a shaky foundation when they hear things like that.
I think that's his sense of humor, but it might backfire at some point.
Yeah. So I think one of the other insights that Mike Bloom had from getting to see things actually happen was he said Sari volunteered to throw the monkey fist.
Yes.
And that's rough. She had practiced it and thought she was going to do well. And when you watch, the thing that it looked like she was doing wrong was she was behind.
Step back.
She was throwing from behind those ropes. If you watch Coach, when he threw it, he had the rope and the monkey fist were in front of the rope boundary there that they had to throw from. That little platform they had to
So he
throw
cheated.
from. No, he did it smart. And so he didn't.
To be behind him.
Nothing said you had to be
You
the
just
rope
said
and the monkey
there's a
fist had to
rope
be
boundary.
behind. No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
Where she was tripping herself up is
Yes,
when the
she
rope
kept hitting
would
the rope.
be flying, it would hit the ropes in front of her, and that friction was causing her
should
to
have been
miss.
perfect.
She eventually figured it out, but even then she wasn't throwing from in front the way Coach did. And they showed us that water challenge, and it's got one of those things that is a weakness for her. It's got a balance beam between the platforms, and it's a tough one where
You're
you've
talking
got to
about
do.
on the next Survivor.
Yeah, on the next
Survivor.
time on Survivor, that water challenge, you've got to move between floating platforms, and it's a balance beam that has multiple levels.
Yeah, but she has done it. We've seen her do it.
To the detriment of her tribe, yes.
Maybe not, but I have seen her do it. I remember.
So this could be yet another disaster for her, or maybe she has
But
practice.
She's probably got it down now.
Yes, maybe.
Regardless, they're not going to lose.
Okay.
They're not going to lose.
That's how
this
you
time.
got it figured out?
Well, if they do, Savannah's going home.
All right.
Because
that would be fine.
Savannah lied. Rick's convinced she lied,
Mhm.
and they're going to need to get her out.
Everyone just seemed to just accept that, too, that he knew that she was lying. So they left us with the impression that, hey, she got busted for lying. So she's
like
got
Rick wouldn't lie.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why he thinks she's lying. He would have.
Yes. Takes one to know one as far as he's concerned, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah. So she's got a block a vote. Ozzy's got an extra vote. You think they're going to cancel each other out?
I don't know. Possibly.
Yeah.
That would be a waste, I guess, but...
Yeah, certainly a possibility. The thing that's got me most concerned really is the Vatu tribe. So there was a controlling alliance with Stephanie and Rizzo and Q and Kyle and Genevieve and Colby, but they're down 2 votes and a member of the alliance.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't see Aubrey, Angelina, and Rizzo working well together. Do you? I'm pretty
It's
sure
possible.
Q likes Rizzo, and right now Colby likes him, so they could easily pull him in.
Mm-hmm.
And Colby, you said, had talked about he was getting acquainted with everyone. because you don't know about all the switch ups.
Not Colby, Kyle.
Oh, Kyle. That's what I meant, Kyle.
Kyle was the one that had himself so supremely positioned in the Vatu tribe.
Oh,
and
yeah,
maybe others
that's
have
right.
too. And we just don't know. And Kyle wasn't as aware of it.
Yeah. Hopefully they're all doing that, but I don't know. I don't know, see where Angelina and Aubrey are going to fit as well, though they could pull in anyone. But I don't see the other three
Kyle said
being
he had
strong enough to combat that or realize that hopefully Q and Colby aren't telling other people that they have no vote.
Well, Colby told everyone.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Right off the
Q
bat.
didn't.
Yeah. Ooh, Colby. Okay. We all know you don't got to vote.
Yeah.
That may be used against you, but okay.
But even if Sari just completely botches that balance beam again, there's 2 challenges in this upcoming episode, and they're either to immunity or to reward, but it looks like one of them's a reward. And that if that water one is reward, and then the carry the big snake one, and then the snake tilt board puzzle at the end of that, if that's the immunity, that might not be her downfall. They might be able to recover from that.
Yeah. There you go. Let's go with that one.
Even if she does ruin the reward for them. Do you think Probst would give her another opportunity to have her conquer it moment to finish after the challenge is over?
No.
If she gets stuck? Yeah, I don't think so either.
That was a
one-time thing,
one
right?
and done.
Yeah.
And he's already played that heart tug moment.
Mhm.
So no, because he was yelling at her to
get
he
the monkey
really
fist.
did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she was behind. It's like not helpful, Jeff.
All right. Well, I think that was great to get to hear 26 additional perspectives on what they thought about the premiere.
Absolutely.
And like Jill said, it's a whole different thing if you can watch it without ads. Drew, you're going to have to fork over that extra money because there's at least 2 tiers of Paramount Plus subscription. There's one with ads and one without. And the one without made it 2 hours and 8 minutes like Jill was talking about. That's a big difference.
Yeah. Yep. If you don't want the ads, that's what you have to do.
Mhm.
We have the ads.
And they just went up.
So anyway, okay.
We have ads on some of the other streaming things, but we don't on Paramount Plus.
Oh, yeah, we don't on Paramount Plus. But I mean, most things we have to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's all we have is streaming.
Well, due to the double elimination there, or the elimination and the medical evacuation, we weren't able to score the JSFL and have that right away, but we have an update. Can you go through that for
But
us?
that's going to happen this season. That's just going to happen.
Yeah, there's going to be multiple
that
doubles.
we'll be giving that on Saturdays
Yep.
for probably a good part of the season. Okay, there were 14 people tied for first place with 6 points.
Oh, congratulations.
3 lost their USB for Jenna and 5 for Kyle.
Sorry, Sarah.
33 people lost a safe point on Jenna, and 33 people lost a safe point on Kyle.
Yes, we did.
18 people earned the vote off points for Jenna.
Yes, we did.
Yes, though you had Kyle safe, so you only got a 5, not a 6.
Yeah.
That's why there's only 14 that got the 6,
Yep.
not 18. Okay, and remember, if you had Kyle as your vote off, you will not receive any points since he was not voted off, but left
He
automatically.
has never been voted off, like Parker was saying.
Okay, side challengers with 5 points in first place is Stacy.
Mm-hmm. Ta-da.
All right, good job, baby.
Mm-hmm.
4 points, Anderson, Johnny, Parker, and Rebecca. With 3 points, Jeremiah, Justin, and Lisa Ray. With 0 points, our boy Drew, who didn't make his picks at all. But that won't happen again. So he'll catch up.
I don't know about
It'll
that.
Be
You
okay,
might
Drew.
be giving him the benefit of the doubt too much
I
with that.
will give him the benefit of the
Okay.
doubt. And maybe a message here and there or two. But anyway, before we do anything else, I just wanted to give a shout out to Jeremiah that you're still in our thoughts and that we're praying for you, that you're having a speedy recovery. We know that
and entertaining everyone on the ward.
You're up and about and walking around. We saw the clip on Facebook, so we know that you are up and about moving, and so we're thinking about you, Jeremiah, and we miss you.
We want to thank everybody who took the time to send in thoughts and predictions this week, and your analysis and your insights and your personal experience, all the good stuff. We loved hearing what you thought about the episode, the new season. We also want to say a big thanks to David, Hazel, Hope, and Pat for your donations. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you so much for helping out with the operational cost.
And if you play in JSFL, remember to make your picks. For one person voted out and 4 people who you think will still be in the game at the end of the episode. That's when we started wording it that way, was for this type of situation where they went out on a medical. And
let's hope there are no more medicals, though.
Yeah, no more medicals. That really, that's just not a good feel. So I don't like to see people get hurt.
Well, I think it's obvious. We're pretty excited for the 90-minute episodes coming on Wednesday, and we'll be back then with our recap.
All right, everybody have a good one. Let's go feed Cleo.